Azam Baki has stressed that he does not own any more shares in any company and said that he will be sending a letter of demand to Bloomberg over its report. Meanwhile, Lim Guan Eng has called on the Public Service Department to respond to the issue. Stay tuned for this and more on KiniNews. Azam Baki held a press conference today where he addressed questions about his shareholdings, among other matters. He also said that he would be sending a letter to Bloomberg over its report on the issue.
MACC Chief Commissioner Azam Baki has claimed that he has divested all shareholdings in any company since last year. This came following a Bloomberg report yesterday which stated that Azam had owned 17.7 million shares in the financial services company Velocity Capital Partner Berhad. According to NST, Azam said that to date he does not have a single unit in any company and that his account is empty. He added that he had proactively declared his assets in July 2025. He also stressed that trading shares is not illegal for government officers as long as there is no conflict of interest and proper declaration is made. Azam said this in a special press conference at the MACC headquarters today, which Munshikini was not invited to. In the press conference, he also said that he will be sending a letter of demand to Bloomberg following its report on his share ownership. According to him, the letter will be delivered by his lawyer either through the agency's office in Malaysia or in the United States. He said the statement by Bloomberg was misleading and claimed that the news outlet published its reports without properly verifying the facts. Azam also threatened to seek a court order to legally restrain parties from repeating or publicizing the matter. He was quoted as saying that if anybody starts talking again about it, he will apply to court for an injunction.
Following Bloomberg's report, several politicians weigh in on the issue, including Lim Guan Eng. Here is what he said.
DAP advisor Lim Guan Eng has urged the Public Service Department to publicly address MACC Chief Commissioner Azam Baki's previous shareholding in financial services company Velocity Capital Partner Berhad. In a statement today, he said public interest demands that the government's Public Services Department state whether Azam had breached the 2024 Public Officers Conduct and Disciplinary Management Circular by purchasing an excessive number of shares in the company. He added that principles of integrity, accountability, and transparency must be upheld for the official helming of such a critical and important post as the MACC's Chief Commissioner. Lim said if Azam did not breach the regulation, then Azam would be entitled to seek legal redress. However, he said if Azam has breached this circular, then the government must explain what disciplinary action has been taken and whether a special inquiry should be conducted, as well as whether it is tenable for him to remain in his position. Yesterday, Azam said he is considering legal action following reports stating that he holds 17.7 million shares in the company, or about 1.7% stake. Azam added that he had bought the shares last year and disposed of them in the same year. He also said that he had declared his shareholdings with the Public Service Department. While it is not known how much Azam bought the shares for, the lowest that Velocity Capital Partner shares traded for last year was 0.015 ringgit per unit, meaning the MACC chief's holdings could have been 265,500 ringgit at the lowest. From now on, you can also listen to KiniNews on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Scan the QR code on the screen to follow us.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim has reiterated that his government would not compromise if the integrity of strategic institutions is in question. In a Facebook post last night, he said stern action towards wrongdoing and misappropriation in the defense sector, as well as the uncovering of high-profile cartels, is proof of this. He also stressed that no one is immune from the law. The Prime Minister's remarks were in response to Malaysia moving up in the Corruption Perception Index rankings from 57 to 54 for 2025. However, the release of the CPI results also coincided with a Bloomberg report revealing that MACC chief Azam Baki was listed as having 17.7 million shares in financial services company Velocity Capital Partner Berhad, shares that would have been worth nearly 800,000 ringgit yesterday. While civil servants are allowed to purchase stocks, a civil service disciplinary circular limits holdings in a single company to 100,000 ringgit. Azam said that he bought and disposed of the stocks at an unspecified time last year. However, the company's Commission of Malaysia records still listed him as a shareholder of Velocity Capital Partner as of December 26, 2025. While it is not known how much Azam bought the shares for, the lowest that Velocity Capital Partner shares traded for last year was 0.015 cent per unit, meaning the MACC chief's holdings could have been 265,500 ringgit at the lowest. The MACC and Azam have denied wrongdoing and that the top graftbuster had declared his shareholdings with the Public Service Department. However, the issue of compliance with the 100,000 ringgit purchasing limit was not addressed. Malaysia Kini has contacted Chief Secretary to the government, Shamsul Azri Abu Bakar, for comment regarding Azam's case. In response to Anwar's remarks, businessperson Albert Tay has questioned the status of the remaining 13 politicians he implicated in the Sabah mining scandal. He also claimed that the Prime Minister's statement reeked of double standards, suggesting that political allies are spared. In a statement, Tay said that the MACC has only charged 2 out of the 15 VVIPs implicated since his disclosure in November 2024. He added that the remaining 13 VVIPs not only escaped legal action but have even been appointed to top positions. He pointed out that he had furnished MACC with hundreds of pages of alleged evidence apart from video recordings, including various documents such as money trails, correspondence, WhatsApp records supporting the transactions, as well as mobile phones. Last November, Anwar dismissed allegations that he was shielding GRS politicians who are also allies of Pakatan Harapan. He said the case remains open and that the investigation papers are with the Attorney General's chambers. However, there has been no update since. Tay, who claimed to have bribed the politicians in exchange for mineral exploration licenses, has been charged twice in relation to the scandal. Previously, he also alleged that a high-ranking MACC officer had threatened him not to lodge a report over the scandal.
If you like the stories we produce, consider supporting us by subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Click the link in the description below or scan the QR code on your screen to subscribe.
Moving on to Jamal Yunos, against all odds, a single-use slipper and his towel used in a protest have helped the Sungai Besar UMNO Division Chief raise money at a private auction this morning. The auction was held in response to the outstanding court costs he owed to Seputeh MP Teresa Kok.
Jamal Yunos has raised 66,000 ringgit through the sale of one slipper and his towel used during his 2016 protest outside the Selangor State Secretariat building. Both the slipper and the used towel fetched 33,000 ringgit each at a private auction. Jamal's lawyer Imran Tamrin told Malaysia Kini that the auction was held at Jamal's house and overseen by a professional and licensed auctioneer. In a video posted to his Facebook page, Jamal claimed that one of the winning bidders intends to have the slipper's image printed and delivered to Kok as a gift.
Jadi dua orang pembida, seorang daripada Negeri Sembilan, berbangsa India, bida Tuala, dan seorang lagi daripada Sabah, daripada Sarike. Sandakan, lupalah, sebanyak 33,000 slipper, 11 slipper saya, dan dia kata dia akan hadiahkan, dia framekan dulu slipper ini dan hantar kepada pejabat Terasa Kok dalam waktu terdekat. Hari ini dia akan uruskan bayaran. Jadi apabila bayaran itu saya jangka dapat hari ini, dalam waktu terdekat nanti kami akan bayar duit kepada Terasa Kok.
Jamal also insisted that today's auction was an act of dignity rather than desperation. He argued that Kok had overstepped by enforcing the court order when, in his view, a settlement arrangement was already in place.
Yesterday, the Kuala Lumpur High Court had postponed a separate auction scheduled for today at Jamal's home pending the disposal of a last-minute application filed by his son. The auction had been fixed for February 11 to sell 14 items seized on January 28 to recover 66,061 ringgit and 85 cents in outstanding legal costs owed to Teresa. However, Kok's lawyer Sankara Nair told reporters yesterday that the court postponed the auction after Jamal's son filed interpleader and stay applications on February 9th. The lawyer said Jamal had claimed that the seized items did not belong to him but to his son. He added that the court has yet to fix a hearing date for the applications. In April 2017, Kok filed a defamation suit against Jamal, who led the UMNO Link Red Shirts group, over statements he made during a press conference concerning Yayasan Warisan Anak Selangor funds. Kok alleged that Jamal had implied she misappropriated state government funds for personal gain and portrayed her as unethical. In July 2022, the High Court awarded Kok 300,000 ringgit in damages and ordered Jamal to pay 50,000 ringgit in legal costs. 2 years later, the Court of Appeal had dismissed Jamal's appeal and again ordered him to pay 50,000 ringgit in costs. Previously, Jamal told reporters that he planned to auction several pairs of his slippers and shoes to pay Kok. He said this when met at his house on January 28, after police and court officials forced entry into his home in Ampang, Kuala Lumpur. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm John. Thanks for watching.